Been a lot of talk in the Chile camp this week over the pride in performance and it being part of the party. An outpouring of emotion representing that in the singing of the national anthem. Well, let's take a check on tonight's teams for you then. And it is a vastly experienced Chile side, all of whom were regulars at last year's World Cup. There are just 3 changes from the only friendly warm-up win against El Salvador on Friday, with Claudio Bravo and Arturo Vidal linking up late with a squad less than a week since their involvement in the UEFA Champions League final. They replaced Johnny Herrera and Felipe Gutierrez, while Eugenio Mena starts ahead of Eduardo Vargas. That means a more advanced role for Jean Beausejour, the only starter who plays his club football in Chile. Well, Gustavo Quinteros went with his strongest available Ecuador lineup for Saturday night's 4-0 win over Panama, and sticks with the same again tonight. Antonio Valencia and Felipe Caicedo amongst their big names missing through injury. Walter Ayovi won his 100th cap at the weekend. He moves joint 4th in their all-time appearance list, but only 4 of this side have previously played at the Copa America. The rest of the squad, of course, available off the bench. Chile are able to name Eduardo Vargas, whose club season with Queen's Park Rangers ended with a knee injury in April that was expected to keep him out of this competition. Likewise, Felipe Gutierrez, who missed most of the season with Twente, is available again. And strength in depth on the Ecuador bench, although they have been hit by injuries in the build-up. Late call-ups for Daniel Anguilo, who only arrived yesterday after an injury to Jamie Ayovi. As I mentioned, the referee is Nestor Pitano from Argentina, a former actor taking charge of tonight's drama, as he did for 4 matches at last year's World Cup. He is no stranger to the big occasion. Well, Ecuador ended a 4-match winless run with their first victory under their new coach, who only took over the team in March when they beat Panama at the weekend. But the serious business starts here. They haven't won in 9 Copa America matches now, dating back to 2001, coming into this one. Against the Chile side, beaten just once in their last 19 home matches. 4 times runners-up in this competition, the host nation desperate to go one better in front of their own supporters. He could be a chief threat, and a Valencia leads the line for Ecuador. The absence of his namesake Antonio, a bitter blow to coach Quinteros. He admitted in the build-up to this he underwent ankle surgery just a day after the end of the Premier League season, a decision taken by his club, Manchester United. Claudio Bravo provides the experience in the Chile side. He is the most capped player in their history, skippering the team. Both go into the now traditional pre-match huddle. This is what all the preparations have been about. This is what it all comes down to. Weeks on the training ground, hidden away from any sort of publicity, any prying eyes or cameras, certainly in Chile's case. A lot of secrecy surrounding their build-up. Their star men joining late. Alexis Sanchez on FA Cup final duty. Arturo Vidal and Claudio Bravo in the Champions League. They have come late to this party, but this party is about to get started in Santiago. The 44th Copa America is off and underway. Chile carrying the weight of expectation as the host nation begin their latest and perhaps best ever chance to finally get their hands on the famous trophy. They've won more Copa America matches and scored more goals against Ecuador than against any other opposition. But Gustavo Quinteros' team are in the mood to spoil the party, to write their own script, as they look to improve on their recent reputation as underachievers at this competition. Chile, of course, has the home side in their traditional colours. The only modification to Ecuador's kit, the white shorts instead of the blue for La Tricolor. It is they who look to launch the first attack of the game. Early touch for the goalkeeper and captain Claudio Bravo, his 90th cap tonight, more than anybody else in the history of his nation. Mauricio Isla. Valdivia scored the winner in the friendly. He's found Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez is in, and it is a fraction away from being a dream start. They were almost up and running inside the opening 90 seconds. And given the season that Sanchez has had, you almost expected him to score here. Manufactured the sight of goal for himself, but couldn't find the finish. Would have backed himself to do much better with that. 25 goals he got for Arsenal at club level in his debut season in North London. 26 goals he has for Chile, his team's talisman. And that was his chance right from the start. This could be Ecuador's chance. It's an open start to the contest. Bolanos, he will get it back again. Blocked was by Marcelo Diaz, who carries the defensive responsibility really in the Chilean midfield. And Carlos Paredes bringing up his half-century of caps for Ecuador, getting ready for a debut Premier League season in England next year with Watford, key part of their promotion-winning team. And Vidal, of course, a league title winner in each of his 4 years with Juventus. Disappointment last weekend in the Champions League final for him. And it was his goal that clinched the Serie A title with weeks to spare for Juve. Can he transform that form onto the international stage, having suffered badly with injury at the last World Cup? Played on through the pain barrier of a knee injury. It continued to trouble him into the campaign just gone. Fully fit again and being tipped to become the leader of this generation. Sanchez might have something to say about that as well. It was another chance for Alexis Sanchez. Dominguez, a long way off his line, in the end was able to deal with the danger because of that. There's a couple of chances for Alexis Sanchez though inside the opening 4 minutes on opening night. There he is again, certainly seeing plenty of the ball in the opening stages, finding Valdivia. With his goal early on that saw off El Salvador on Friday, but it was an unconvincing warm-up performance really from Chile. They have laboured somewhat in the friendly matches in this calendar year. Suffered back-to-back defeats against Iran and Brazil on their travels in March, before the only game that they played in front of their own people in the build-up to this. The only goal that they've scored actually in their last 3 friendlies. Coach Jorge Sampaoli has still declared himself satisfied with the way that preparations have gone. A lot of those done on the training ground in Rancagua. They've been based at the O'Higgins training camp, former monastery away from prying eyes. They had planned actually to go to Europe. That plan was only abandoned at the start of last month. Coach wanted to take his team away from all the focus and the pressure back home. He also said we wouldn't see too many long balls from them tonight, but that was very nearly an effective one from the quickly taken free kick. Trying to utilise the pace in behind of Alexis Sanchez. Gonzalo Yara to Eugenio Mena. Yara, who suffered the agony of missing the decisive penalty in that World Cup shootout defeat against Brazil. There's Maurizio Isla to Valdivia. Had initially retired actually from international football after those World Cup finals, only to be tempted back again in October. Isla seeing plenty of the ball. So is Sanchez here. Ecuador with plenty of bodies back behind the ball. They might need them. Better away was by Frickson Arazo. Well won by Montero. So Bosajur is back with the Chilean club Colo-Colo now. Just finished his first season there after returning from 4 years in England. As I mentioned, he's the only player in this starting 11 who is based in Chile. One of only 4 actually in the 23-man squad. It's in complete contrast really to Ecuador, who have 13 that play their club football in their home country. Isla again. And again. Valdivia may yet still make something of this. Just too much on it for Maurizio Isla, who applauds the intention on the pass. Fullback has been the furthest forward on a number of occasions already. Systematic of the Chilean setup under Jorge Sampaoli. Self-proclaimed disciple of his fellow Argentinian and fellow one-time Chile coach, of course, Marcelo Bielsa, who first really introduced this way of playing to the Chile national team. Sampaoli stepping in. Bielsa departing in 2011. The reign of Claudio Borghi in between was rather less successful. This is Bosajur. Valdivia spotted the run of Vidal, but so too had the goalkeeper Alexander Dominguez. Playing without an out-and-out centre-forward, Chile again. Not uncommon the way that this side is set up, but it does afford opportunities for Vidal, making those runs from his advanced midfield role. Well, he's been afforded really at Juventus to a greater extent under Maximiliano Allegri this season. Same season that Juan Carlos Paredes had with Watford, very much a regular with his national side. Had a lot of time together under their new coach. They're not alone actually of the South American teams competing in this Copa America. What Gustavo Quinteros, who was in charge of Bolivia actually in Argentina 4 years ago, has done is remain faithful to the 4-4-2 that these players are used to with their national team. Rayovi in possession here, the captain, one of those that has praised the coach for that. It's a settled system, if not the same consistency in personnel that Chile are able to enjoy. There's Sanchez, fast feet in a tight situation, draws the free kick, which Vidal will take quickly. Valdivia has been at the heart of everything so far, as Coach Sampaoli said he would. He's fully recovered from a hamstring injury. It was picked up back in March, was a concern at the time. Gustavo Quinteros there, his concern how to stop Chile. He says he has got the answers. Trying to pick a way through here. He's admitted Chile do have the benefit of a settled side, of knowing each other from previous competitive campaigns. But equally that will work to his advantage because he does know how they will play. Isla. Sit back from Sanchez. And again, Maurizio Isla. And to be alert to the danger, Gabriel Chile. Getting the nod at centre-back, where there has been competition for places in the Ecuadorian ranks. He read the danger well on that occasion, the man from Emelec, the current domestic champions. They actually make up 7 of this 23-man squad. One of their former coaches in the opposition dugout. Jorge Sampaoli will be hoping his knowledge of Ecuadorian football during his year in charge at Emelec in 2010 will be a useful factor tonight. Chile dominant in possession now, aren't they? Patient in their passing. Aranguiz and then Diaz. It's Charles Aranguiz who comes away with it. It's an obvious attacking outlet that they are trying to utilise at every opportunity. Having Maurizio Isla involved. And his loan season with Queen's Park Rangers ended in relegation in the Premier League. He won't therefore be taking up the option to sign him on a permanent basis from Juventus. Gary Medel there has enjoyed a fine first season in Italy with Inter Milan. Roberto Mancini's club coach singled him out as one of their star performers in an otherwise difficult season. This could be difficult for Ecuador. They've got more defending to do. Vidal. Making it well with Marcelo Diaz. He needed rather more quality on the cross, but it could come again. Vidal. Loose touch in there from the Juventus man. Could cost them on the counter. Ecuador had virtually everybody back, so there's not a lot of support for Jefferson Montero here. Only really Enner Valencia was ahead of him. He still has it. He does take some shrugging off the ball, the Swansea City man. Okay, for a handball in there against Paredes. Referees let it go. Most prolonged period of possession that Ecuador had. And as soon as I say that, they launch it long and straight through to Claudio Bravo. Teros has said his style involves a high pressing game. He tries to bring to any team that he's in charge of, but we have seen Ecuador sitting fairly deep so far. He's admitted his team are bound to be a work in progress at these finals, which they will learn a lot ahead of the start of World Cup qualifying in October. Maybe not enough to satisfy his Football Federation, who've demanded better. Sanchez will chance his arm from range this time. His look has not been in yet. Wasn't against El Salvador actually on Friday either in that warm-up. A few quite surprised to see him play the full 90 minutes of that game so soon after winning the FA Cup at Wembley with Arsenal. Squandered a series of chances in the game, didn't look at his sharpest. Despite coming off the back of that fine performance, that wonderful goal at Wembley. As will try and get there. Again, Chile taking no chances with the clearance. Again, he was in the right place at the right time to make it. Impressive reading of the game so far from the centre-back. He's winning his 27th cap tonight. The majority of the experience, certainly in terms of previous appearances, come in defence for Ecuador. It's a little further forward where short of options. Felipe Caicedo was the only player who scored for them at the previous Copa America finals 4 years ago. He told his coach after a season of suffering with muscle injuries in Spain with Espanyol that he needed the off-season to take a break and get his body back in shape again, so he declared himself unavailable. And Valencia, in his absence, will shoulder a lot of the goal-scoring responsibility, as he successfully did with the 3 goals in the group stage at the World Cup last year. But he's given the ball away on that occasion. Chile looked to break quickly. Would have been able to do so had it not been just a shade too far in front of Arturo Vidal. And tipped to emerge as Chile's star man. Yeah, no other observer than Elias Figueroa, their former defender, widely regarded as the best player in their history. So Vidal has everything it takes to join him on that list. There's Montero again. And still he's done really well here, Jefferson Montero. He had Martinez to aim for in the middle, still the danger. They have kept it alive here. And then proceeded to give it away again to Valdivia. Still under some pressure. It's as threatened as Chile have been so far. And again they've given it away rather casually. Excellent effort, brings the first save of the night from Claudio Bravo. He was alert to that, as he had to be. Shot really that came out of nowhere after the casual concession of possession on the edge of their own penalty area. A little reminder for Chile of the concentration required on a night such as this. Now they break at the other end, but there's a little too much on the ball from Diaz. Valdivia will find Beausejour. Paredes with him. Paredes thought he'd got the better of that duel and should have had the free kick, but referee Pitana not concurring. Bound to be a few nerves on display, and maybe showcased on this occasion. This was the ball in from Montero. Valdivia it was who took the quick free kick. Marcelo Diaz wasn't aware of the presence there of Fidel Martinez, and it required the save from Bravo to deny a player who's been in excellent scoring form. He played back-to-back friendlies against Panama in the build-up to this home and away in the space of 3 days, and he scored 3 goals in those 2 matches, having only previously managed 2 for his country in his first 12 games. Jorge Valdivia off the field at the moment. Chile temporarily down to 10. Gonzalo Yara gets it back again. This is Mena. Aranguiz. Gary Medel. Still waiting to get Valdivia back on the field. Mena again, who's based in Brazil these days with Cruzeiro. Not much that Mauricio Isla could do with that on the other side. Well, he made his debut for Chile before he'd ever made his professional debut for his club. Valdivia again. Straight back into the action now that he's back on the field, finding Isla. Promising position this for Chile. Haven't quite found their stride in the final third in the opening 20 minutes. Vidal again. Vidal. Beausejour will get there. Having done that part, couldn't then hook it back deep into the danger zone. So far, everything that Alexander Dominguez has had to do, he's been relatively untested by. Very much the first choice goalkeeper now, plays for Liga de Quito. And their first choice for the last 6 seasons since he replaced the legendary Jose Francisco Ceballos. Remember his performance against France at the last World Cup when he was man of the match in that goalless draw. Could be under pressure again here though. Forward by Sanchez. Mauricio Isla fizzes it in, and Dominguez holds on again. A little more inventive from Chile in the part of the pitch that matters. And they have generally under Sampaoli been so impressive. Only in recent months really that the goals have dried up. They've played 10 friendlies since going out of the World Cup on penalties to Brazil and won half of them. A little more like it, and touch flowing football in the build-up, what we've come to expect. With Ecuador got at the other end, the pulling was by Christian Noboa. Lastra, who's making his competitive debut actually for Ecuador tonight. It's only his 5th cap, the first in a match that really matters. So midway through this first half, Chile haven't exactly come flying out of the blocks. They've had the majority share of possession so far. They've had the better chances. It might have been a very different story had Alexis Sanchez, of course, got that goal inside the opening 2 minutes. It remains the best opening so far. Involved again here as they work it wide for Beausejour. Well, was caught. Referee thought about letting it go as they still have possession, but he's brought out the yellow card, the first of the night, the first of the championships for Fidel Martinez. Won't have too many complaints, can he? Showed his youthful enthusiasm at the other end with the one chance that Ecuador have fashioned. When he picked up possession from Marcelo Diaz. The youthful enthusiasm at the other end, proving costly on that occasion. Impressive season he had in Mexico with Guadalajara, enough to earn him a move to the Pumas club for next season. That deal is already done. He got in early before maybe his reputation is enhanced further at this tournament. But he's left his team with that potential problem with the concession of the free kick here. Charles Aranqui standing over it. No shortage of targets for him either. Well defended though by Ecuador. Always well drilled in defending those sort of set-piece situations, and now perhaps they can counter with Juan Carlos Paredes. Do have the pace in the side to be able to do that. Highlighted better than most by Jefferson Montero, who I think was the intended target for the crossfield ball that was never threatening really to reach him. Now Vidal. That will reach Sanchez, but he can't quite control it. Did just bounce up and strike him on the arm there as he tried to bring it down. As Chilean to score in an FA Cup final since George Robledo got a goal for Newcastle back in 1952. Continues to break records. Set new ground for his nation, does Alexis Sanchez. We really need him to deliver at this tournament. His own teammates have mentioned as much very publicly. It was Gonzalo Yawa that said they need him to be as important to them as Messi is to Argentina and Neymar is for Brazil. Believes he belongs in that sort of company. Next month or so is his chance to prove it. There's a Jovi. Finding Montero. Almost getting it back again, but Mauricio Isla was strong enough in the challenge. Ayovi, the captain, playing in his 4th Copa America Championships. Only 5 in the squad that have been to a previous one. Level tonight with Ulises de la Cruz, joint 4th in the nation's all-time appearance list with his 101st cap. Brought up the century against Panama on Saturday. His first Copa America appearance actually was back in 2001. He came on against Venezuela in their 4-0 victory. It is the last match that Ecuador have won at a Copa Finals. Dragon stayed down, but Sanchez was always second favourite up against Dominguez. Be happy with how his side have defended so far. Both countries with Argentinian-born bosses in the dugout tonight. Although Quinteros actually went on to play international football for Bolivia. He did coach at Copa America last time out in 2011, but resigned shortly afterwards, having failed to win a game at the tournament. With Emelec, though, the domestic champions, that he came to Ecuadorian attention at a national level. Very much first choice for the job when it became available again at the end of last year. All the way through for Vidal. Not yet, anyway. That will be a free kick for the challenge on Valdivia within striking range here. Position of some promise for Chile. Just stepped across. Milo Bolanos was trying to get back and help out his defence, but in doing so, he's the one actually that might have landed them in trouble with the concession of this kick. Really far from the headlines, on or off the field, Jorge Valdivia. Very little he hasn't experienced in his international career. Interesting to see who takes this as well. On their own admission, Alexis Sanchez and Marcelo Diaz almost came to blows in the dressing room after the El Salvador game by taking a free kick that the other wanted. Sanchez later described it as a difference of opinion that has since been sorted. I believe the media back home were blowing it out of proportion a little bit. It was reported that Gary Medel, who was captain for the night that night, had to step in and separate them in the dressing room. It doesn't look as if Sanchez has much of an argument in taking this one. Maybe he does after all. No, it will be left for Alexis Sanchez. This is his moment. And he fluffed his line somewhat. Still trying to make something of it. Keeps on coming back at Ecuador at the moment. They want another free kick here, the home side. Not going to get that one. Bolanos will get the decision of his own, which he takes very quickly. He's the one, really, Milo Bolanos, that has benefited from the injury absence of Felipe Caicedo. And the chance to partner Enner Valencia. It was he who won the kick, just caught by Mena. Ecuador holding their own in this opening half an hour. Against opposition they've had precious little joy against in previous Copa America tournaments. They've met 13 times at this competition, and Chile have won 11 of them. The nations have played 45 times previously in total, with Ecuador victorious on just 8 occasions. 3 of those in the last 5 meetings. They've been giving as good as they've been getting in recent fixtures, and you can say the same of their display so far tonight. A rare opportunity to showcase their threat, maybe from a set piece here. It's one of their traditional strengths, really. It will be taken by the captain, Ayovi. Very congested penalty area, but it's mainly the red shirts back defending. They haven't committed too many too far forward, but before the kick can be taken, the referee with a bit of work to do by the looks of this. A yellow card out for Gonzalo Yara for his part in the agitation that was ongoing in the area. It's a little bemused as to why. So still Ayovi waits over the kick. Still that pushing and shoving is going on in the box. Got it away yet. Martinez didn't really connect as intended with a header. Claudio Bravo, the goalkeeper, becoming Chile's most capped player, and he made his 85th appearance in the victory against Peru back in October. It's number 90 for the skipper tonight. Valdivia leaving it for Aranguiz. Isla for Sanchez. Paying particularly close attention to Alexis Sanchez of Ecuador, as one might have expected, as he probably expected. His best chance to get the better of them remains his first chance right at the start of the game. It really proved a precursor for what was to come so far. Plenty of time for that to change, but again, Sanchez dispossessed. Then it's given back to him. Isla's offside, and he didn't necessarily need to be. The officiating team from Argentina, Herman Madana, the assistant who gave this. He tried to hold his run, just went a fraction too early. There's Bolanos. Montero loves the ball at feet and showing why. Nobody to aim for on that near post there, which is why Bravo was able to gather unchallenged. Ecuador threats have been sporadic but frequent enough to suggest they very much remain a threat, despite most of the action being at this end. Sanchez again drawing the free kick. A little further out this time, so you might not necessarily get involved in the argument on this occasion. Marcelo Diaz really is the set-piece specialist in the side from these sort of situations. We've seen Charles Aranguiz involved as well tonight. Looks like he's going to take this one. From Internacional in Brazil. And from Aranguiz then. Not for the first time tonight, met by an Ecuadorian head. As Chile's frustration mounts here, the atmosphere somewhat different to out of the opening ceremony. A goal for the host nation, that would all change again. Still they press and probe here. Still one or two passes going astray, one or two too many really in the build-up for Chile. Side who rely on the free-flowing football, the fluency, the one-touch football. So pleasing on the eye when it comes off, can look a little lightweight when it doesn't. And flitted really between the two so far tonight. Here's Vidal. Isla. Vidal. Beautiful build-up. Isla to fizz it in. And he couldn't quite find the finish again, which was all that was lacking this time. There was the fluency I was just mentioning. Urged forward again, Valdivia flinging out a foot at it without being able to make the requisite contact. Better though from the hosts. Encouraging this sellout 49,000 crowd to find their voices again. It's needed something like that to find a way in behind this Ecuador defence so far. Valdivia a little unlucky there as well. Now looks across straight away at the referee after a Jovi's challenge. No card forthcoming, the free kick taken quickly. Isla again. Chile injecting some pace. Still Isla! Whistles wide after wonderful link-up play again with Alexis Sanchez this time. Well, the chances are coming for Chile again. Despite his tendency to get forward, Isla has only scored 2 previous goals for his country. Most of those back in 2011 against Spain. He really wasn't far away from adding to that tally on the biggest of stages here, though. Further encouragement for La Roja. Again, get the decision. There's Eugenio Mena on the end of this one. Mentioned his move to Cruzeiro came from another Brazilian club, Santos. He actually rescinded his contract there after a court case over unpaid wages. It's been a pretty turbulent club year for him. He's another who played all 4 of their fixtures at the last World Cup, but involved in the Copa America for the first time this year. It's a little awkward for Medel. Fidel Martinez still battling to make something of it. Jovi against Arturo Vidal is an ongoing battle right now. Now Paredes. Martinez. Jovi. Montero has the beating of Isla for pace. A very deliberate little touch in there to prevent Chile taking that particular free kick quickly. All part of the plan, maybe. Quinteros has also declared himself happy enough with how the preparations have gone. Despite only taking over in March, he had to fulfill his club commitments with Emelec before he was able to take up the international post. Says that shouldn't be a problem. It might have been a problem, but again Vidal unable to capitalise. As both coaches tonight have previously worked with a lot of their players at club level. Sampaoli, during his very successful stint with Universidad de Chile before he got the national job. 9 of the squad for this tournament played under him at club level. We look again at another late challenge, this time from Osvaldo Lastra, that's earned him a caution on Mauricio Isla. Joins Martinez in the book. Third caution of the game in total. With Gonzalo Yara, the only Chilean name taken thus far, as we head rapidly here towards half-time. Here is Yara. And the flag had stayed down. Claudio Bravo reading the danger a long way out of his area to get to it ahead of Enner Valencia, who Ecuador haven't really been able to get in the game yet, the West Ham man. Bravo watched on from the bench as Barcelona completed the treble with their Champions League victory over Juventus at the weekend. Didn't feature in the Champions League or the Copa del Rey, but played in all but the last game of their Spanish Liga success. First season at the club was a particularly successful one for this man. To his €12 million move from Real Sociedad. And the Zamora trophy for the highest number of clean sheets in the Spanish Liga this season. Ayovi. The onus tonight really very much is on Chile. Ecuador will be the more satisfied with the current situation. It's Mexico and Bolivia, the other two teams in this group. It won't be definitive whatever happens tonight. Top two and the two best third place teams all qualify for the quarter-finals. So there is a little margin for error. It's really for Chile more about making a statement of intent about their title prospects at the start of the competition. Ecuador will have a free kick here, and a chance maybe for the last threat of the half. One of them at least, with their captain Ayovi going down. Maybe you feel a set piece would be their most likely route to goal. Ayovi, who won it, will take it, but not particularly convincingly. It's the one added minute then at the end of the first 45. Paredes. He sends Ecuador growing in confidence the longer this goes as well. Chile, in a sense, will be grateful for the half-time whistle to get in, reassess the situation and reorganise. They have come flying out of the blocks, but it didn't last long, and they didn't capitalise on those early chances for Alexis Sanchez. If anything, it's followed a similar pattern to their most recent friendly matches, warm-ups for this competition from Chile. A little laboured at times. The spark we're expecting to see, not quite there yet. After a frustrating first 45 minutes of the 2015 Copa America for the host nation. Well, they had the better chances very early in the game, but it couldn't capitalise on them. And Ecuador will certainly be satisfied with their evening's work so far. A diligent, disciplined, defensive performance from La Tricolor up to this juncture. Plenty of conversations to be had as Chile head for the dressing room, hoping there is more to come. So far so good for Ecuador though. At the break in Santiago on opening night, it remains Chile 0, Ecuador 0.